How's it guys, Munash here, and today we have a full Alliance War video with my latest rank 3 7-star and the very first champ I ever ascended, which is of course the Hood, who has been my MVP over the past 2 seasons. I'm actually surprised he hasn't been banned at all this season, cause he is one of the most potent mystic attackers for Alliance War right now, especially with the synergy with Moleman, Mojo, Mysterio and Modok. Because then you don't worry about running out of bullets. So I usually bring Moleman before I even had the 7-star because he is just really good on path 4 as well, which is the path I've been running the most lately because Hood just happens to be probably the best counter for the most common placement on that path, which is CGR on the first node, because he gets a Fury buff whenever you're inflicted with a non-damaging debuff. And that makes it a lot easier for him to place 5 judgments and trigger damnation because you get 1 from Fury, 2 from the heavy attack, 3 when he gets hit, and then 4 and 5 will come when he throws a special attack. Usually the damage from damnation doesn't do much, but if you add the 240% Fury buff, along with the steady build up Fury node, it can actually hurt quite a bit. You can lose at least half your health just from 1 damnation. However, it is fairly easy to counter because if CGR is inflicted with the Fate Seal, then he loses all his judgments and can't trigger a new one until the Fate Seal ends. So you can use pretty much any champ with easy access to Fate Seal to counter it, although some are a lot better than others. Like Longshot won't have much damage in this fight since CGR is immune to both Bleed and Incinerate, which is not a problem for the Hood since most of his damage is just pure energy damage. So I use an advanced power boost just to make sure I can drop my special 2 before he can throw a special, even if I have some really bad power steal RNG. Just makes the fight really quick and simple. And I am running the Strife synergy, which gives the Hood an extra 50% attack while invisible. And Strife is a tactic attacker as well, so you could probably also handle this Elsa, but I'm still gonna use Hood for it just because it's more efficient. He is a higher rank, the fight will be a lot faster, and Strife kind of needs to ramp up first before he can start blitzing through fights. If this Elsa was placed with Suicides, then I'd probably have to use Strife, but we did check that before, so I'm clear to use Hood. So this will be pretty similar to the CGR fight, just slightly longer because higher rank, I guess. She has a little bit more health and I don't have class advantage this time. No buffs as well to speed up my power gain, but still a very quick and straightforward fight, so she goes down in about 27 seconds. Now moving on to section 2, we finally have a Moleman fight. Unfortunately the only one for this war. Usually I have 2 or 3 because we often see some science champs on path 4 like Void and Spider-Ham. But today we just have a Knull and it's not even a rank 3. And I think it's only like Sig 40 because I started with just 3 Living Abyss debuffs on me. So it's gonna take a while to get to Frenzy. I'm not gonna activate it manually. And I'm not gonna throw any special 1s, I'd rather just go for the special 2 for damage. Activating Frenzy would significantly increase my damage because then you have guaranteed crits, but I like being able to purify, so I'm just gonna hold on to my monster mass and just make sure whenever I block it is a parry, otherwise I'll trigger Unstoppable, which will activate Frenzy. So being able to purify on demand makes this fight pretty easy to control because then you can benefit from the unblockable node, which also makes it a little bit easier to push Knull to special 2. But even without purifying, Moleman is still arguably the safest counter for this fight, because with Stand Your Ground he can block unblockable attacks and not just special attacks, which is a very powerful ability. I mean, most champs that can block unblockable attacks can only do it against special attacks and will need to have class advantage to do it. So that's gonna make it very easy to finish off this fight, and I threw a special 1 just so I can finish my combo and prevent him from throwing his special 1 by holding block, and then I can just let him dash at me and finish him off with an unstoppable intercept. So that fight could have been much faster if I triggered Frenzy sooner, but I guess 1 minute isn't bad. Now moving on to the final path fight, we have a Silver Surfer, another fairly common placement with steady build up unblockable, heal block and painful retreat. Now I actually think I could take this fight with Moleman, but Surfer is a tactic defender, so it is just a little bit safer with Hood. Main thing is it is very easy for him to go unblockable. He just has to throw a special 1 or a heavy attack, which places a bunch of armor breaks on you. Usually that doesn't happen because Hood has good power control, but today it did because I just ever so slightly mistimed a parry and he threw a heavy attack pretty early in the fight. And the Hood has no way of dealing with heal block debuffs, so Surfer will be unblockable for pretty much the entire fight. And that can make things a little bit scary because then you have to fully dex the special 1, which is pretty easy to do, but it does do 4 hits, which means he can gain up to 4 indestructibles if you don't have any prowesses. But like I said, Hood has some solid power control, so you don't actually need to bait specials. And then there's the invisibility, making it pretty easy to play around unblockable. I get 2 guaranteed misses per invisibility, and even after that I still have a pretty good chance of triggering more misses because the chance to miss only drops by 20% after each miss. Alright, now moving on to some mini bosses, we first have a Gladiator on node 42. Another very common placement. We used to almost always see Gore here, but now it's switched to Gladiator. So he has inevitable power efficiency, make a stand, one eye open, and overwhelming odds. So the main 2 nodes to be concerned about here are make a stand and one eye open. So you have to be careful not to do a lot of damage while he's stunned, because all that damage will be reflected. But there's also make a stand, which gives him a 90% protection. So that can work to your advantage because it means that not much damage will be reflected while he's stunned. Just make sure that if you're using a champ who can deal a lot of damage in one attack, like the Hood and his heavy attack, make sure the protection is down before you drop it, otherwise you won't be doing much damage. So in this fight he dropped 1 special 2 because I accidentally dashed back after dropping my relic, so I couldn't chain my combo to it in time. And similar to Surfer Special 1, his Special 2 does sort of force you to trigger multiple dexes, so I had to remove a couple of indestructibles and I got pushed to 3 bars of power, so that made the fight drag on a little bit. If I dropped 1 more Special 2 before the heavy attack, I could have finished the fight in about 35 seconds instead of 1 minute. Now moving on to the next style, we have a Nova with Hazard Shift, Incinerate Poison, and Stun Immunity. Another great matchup for the Hood. Even though he has no immunities or abilities to purify or cleanse, he still works really well on most of the champs I see placed on nodes 44 and 45. Largely because he has the most powerful Fate Seal in the entire game. It doesn't just control buffs but also lowers ability accuracy by 65%, and that's for all abilities, not just defensive. So I use an advanced power boost to get to the special 2 as quickly as possible, and once that Fate Seal is on, I just stop taking Hazard Shift debuffs. And also his damage is just so superb that the fight doesn't even last long enough for you to take that many debuffs. So Nova goes down in 24 seconds, and now I have 1 more fight for this war, which is going to be the biggest fight and on paper looks like the hardest fight, because we have a rank 3 Adam Warlock with feats of vigilance, power efficiency, missing in action, and return policy. Return policy doesn't really do much anymore since the tactic prowesses counter power gain, and Hood isn't too concerned about power efficiency because the more power the opponent has, the more power he can steal. So the main node to be concerned about is the vigilance, because that means Hood can't miss while it's active, and Adam does gain immunity to buff control, so I won't even be able to remove it. So once it's active I stop going for the miss. First special 2 gets me back to 2 bars, so I can just chain it, and then I get a pretty clutch intercept which fills my spirit gauge so I can drop my striker, just so I can safely drop a heavy attack to finish him off, because he's also stun immune while he has his sovereignty buff. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this war. Hope you found it interesting, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.